Hello and welcome to the show. This is Pet Pals and I am Bethany Davidson, the Humane Educator here at Frederick County Animal Control and Pet Adoption Center. Our first guest with Tammy this morning is Fendi, and Fendi is a 2-year-old boxer mix. She came to us as a stray, but because she was previously microchipped, we do know that Fendi is her name, and we were able to do a little bit of research and get some medical records for her as well. So we have a little bit more information than we have for a typical stray. Sometimes we're able to, get in contact with owners, and sometimes for whatever reasons they choose not to pick up their animals. Sometimes information has changed, and so we go with the name that's registered on the chip. We do the best that we can. So we do have a little bit more for Fendi, and now she is here, regardless of how she made her way here, looking for a new forever home. She does have an umbilical hernia, which you can probably see when she rolls over. So that's what that is. Sometimes we're able to, depending on what our vet has decided, fix those and repair those when the animals are spayed, and she will be spayed before she leaves. Sometimes it's not a big enough issue, so we choose not to do that because it's something that's not going to cause an issue for those animals. We behavior assessed her as we do all of our animals when they come in. She's very friendly when you approach her kennel. She's easy to obtain. She is a little bit difficult to walk. Not necessarily showing it right now, but she is a very energetic, very strong dog. So she can pull a little bit, she can jump up. So she would probably benefit from a little bit of good manners training. Just to help her be a good canine citizen, make it a little easy. Harness is going to be a good idea for her. Not necessarily always the back clipping harnesses, because sometimes that gives dogs a little bit more leverage. But the front clip harnesses are really good for when they pull a lot when they're walking. No issues really with food aggression. She reluctantly gives up objects when asked. She enjoys being petted. She really seems to like the squeaky toys and discovering where the squeaker is and making all the noises and stuff with the toys. She is going to make someone a great pet, and hopefully we'll be able to find her a home where she'll be able to spend the rest of her life with that family. If you're looking for something maybe a little smaller, we do have quite a few Chihuahuas on the adoption floor right now, and one of those is Camito, and he is a Chihuahua mix, and he's about 8 years old. He came to us because his owners were moving and they were unable to take him. Even though they tried to find someone that would be able to adopt him from them directly, they were unable to do so, so they eventually brought him here so that we could find him another suitable home. The first thing that most people are going to notice about this little guy is that he's pretty shy. He kind of backs away from the front of his kennel and kind of hangs out in the back where he feels safe. In our behavior assessment, we did notice a couple of things that definitely indicate that he's shy. The fearful backing away from a person, trying to avoid contact when he's in his kennel. He has no reaction to other dogs, which is good. But when you try to, acquire him, and what we mean by that is kind of get him on his leash, harness, whatever, so you can take him out. He definitely is still very fearful. He does need some work with that confidence building, but also with leash walking. Even today, and then as well when they were doing their assessment, he was very shy and nervous, and he lagged behind the handler. Eventually, everyone just kind of picks him up and carries him. So he definitely needs a little work on, making him feel secure in himself, and then working to make sure that he knows how to properly walk on a leash. They were unable to test him for food aggression as well as object guarding because he was unable, he wasn't interested in the items. And then when they were talking about touch sensitivity. At first, he's very tense and uncomfortable, but then eventually he leans in and enjoys the touch. For the person who was conducting this assessment, he eventually climbed into her lap, and as you can see, he's quite comfortable sitting in Tammy's lap, doing some yawns and things, just kind of relaxing. He resisted when handling his feet and his mouth, which is not an uncommon thing, but it's good information to have if you plan on doing any nail trims or teeth brushing or anything like that with your new canine friends. Because he is a senior, he will get a $20 discount in his adoption fee. If you wanted to visit, the hours where our kennels are open are going to be Monday, Tuesday, and Friday from 10 to 5, Wednesday and Thursday from 12 to 8, and Saturdays from 10 to 4. Next up, we have one of our hound dogs. We have several hounds that are available for adoption right now. We have 2 beagles, one also named Biscuit, one named Pillsbury, and then Jackson, who has been on the show before, and Owen, who has also been on the show before. And now this is Biscuit the second, so that we can keep track of our various animals with the same names. So he is again, a hound mix. He's red and white. He's a beautiful dog, but as you can see, he's got plenty of energy, and he doesn't necessarily have a lot of manners at this point in his life. He's about a year old. It is important for everyone to know that he did test Lyme positive, so he is not actively receiving treatment from us because he's not actively displaying any symptoms, but it's something that you should talk to your vet about. Most vets will say that he should be on a 30-day cycle of doxycycline, and then just keeping up with that flea and tick preventative for him. Biscuit came to us after someone found him as a stray. They kept him for about 2 months while they tried to locate his owner. They were unsuccessful, so eventually they brought him here to us so that we could find him a new forever family. While he was staying with that family, he did live with 2 other dogs, a golden retriever and a shepherd mix, both one very young, one a senior, so he has experience living with dogs of different ages that kind of have different energy levels. They say that he is a chewer, he's a fence jumper, a barker, he's very energetic, which kind of all goes with hounds. But they also say that he's a snuggler, which is great. They say that while he was with them, he was house trained and crate trained, and that they did trust him to be left alone in the house. One of the things that he does do is that since he's not yet neutered, he does mark. Before he leaves here, he will be neutered, which we make sure all of our cats, dogs, rabbits are spayed or neutered before they leave our facility. They said that he enjoys playing tug of war, fetch, he loves chew toys and balls. They say that he needs durable things, so he must be a bit of a super chewer there. But they seem to have taken really great care of him while they were looking for his owners, and now we're hoping that we can find someone who on a full-time permanent basis can provide him with the same quality of care. This is Cole, and Cole is one of the many older puppies that we have on our adoption floor. Cole is about 9 months old, and he is a German Shepherd mix, and he is quite a handsome guy. He is a ton of energy. He's just energy packaged up into a dog. So he's going to need someone who's willing to spend a lot of time with him, willing to train him so that he has good manners, willing to definitely make sure that he's getting the appropriate amount of exercise and mental stimulation as well. Because of the fact that he can be a little mouthy and get overstimulated, we are suggesting that he go to a home with older children or adults only. Generally, older children means about 12 and up, just so that they understand a little bit more about boundaries with their animals. They're a little bigger so that the dog's not going to be able to jump up on them. They're not sticking hands in the bowls and stuff like that. So it's not our intention to be difficult. We just want to set the animals and the families up for success. Because he is a puppy, meaning he's under a year old, he will be adopted through our puppy process, which means we will take up to 4 applications and choose the best fit for the dog. The adoption fee for all of our puppies is going to be $150. Now, while you're watching this and while you see Cole in the shelter, you may notice that on his right leg, he does have some scarring. So what happened was Cole stuck his paw through what we have as a little kind of a gutter, a little drain that runs through the back of all of our kennels. We try to block them off so that we can clean and the water flows, but he managed to stick his foot through there and another dog bit on that. So it is now healed, and it is great. According to our vet, he's back to his normal activities. However, he will probably always have a little permanent scarring and hair loss there. So it's not anything that should be of a concern anymore to potential adopters, but it's just an aesthetic thing that is always going to be there for Cole. If you are interested in Cole, the first step is always going to be to stop in and visit with us. If you want to check on his application status before making the trip, you can give us a call. Our main shelter number is going to be 301-600-1546. Our last canine guest that we have for you today is Asha, and she is 1 to 2 years old. She did come to the shelter as a stray, and she is a Bichon mix. So one of the first things you're going to notice about her is that she could use a little bit of a bath and maybe a grooming appointment, and that is something that when you're adopting a breed such as this, that you're just going to have to deal with for the remainder of the dog's lives. They do need a considerable amount of grooming, so making sure that you're budgeting for that when you're thinking about the cost of your dog. It's something that she's definitely going to need, and because she does have that white coat, depending on what she's getting into, she's going to maybe get dirty a little bit quicker. She does not like rough play. She's a little girl, and she doesn't really like to roughhouse. So for that reason, we have said that she needs to go to a home with older children, meaning 10 and up, or an adult home only. That's because a lot of little kids, they see their dog as a friend that they can play with, a playmate. And this little girl prefers to be doing kind of what she's doing right now. Hanging out on a lap, getting lots of love and attention, being a little princess. So we want to make sure that she's not going to a home where small children are going to maybe tug on her ears or her tail a little bit, or maybe attempt to dress her up in a fashion that maybe she's getting her fur pulled on or something like that that's going to make her uncomfortable. We do, again, behavior assess all of the dogs, and according to her behavior assessment, she is pretty good about keeping her kennel clean, but again, we never say that any of our dogs are house trained. She's friendly, no reaction to other dogs, she's easy to obtain, she's easy to walk. We were, again, unable to test her with some of the small dogs. It tends to happen a lot for food aggression or guarding, because she wasn't interested in the items that we were giving her. And she maintains a relaxed body stance as she's getting petted and handled. So we want to thank you for watching this half of the dogs. For all you cat lovers, if you come back after the break, we're going to introduce you to 5 of the felines that are looking for forever homes here at Animal Control.
Join Frederick County Parks and Recreation for some hands-on cooking classes at the Ballinger Creek Community Building in Frederick, Maryland. Some of the classes offered include cooking with your kids in our parent and child programs, have a night with your significant other in our date night classes, learn cuisines from around the world, or learn some basic cooking techniques. For more information, visit us at recreator.com or call 301-600-2936. We'll see you in the kitchen.
Welcome back. Our first cat is a kitten. We are in the swing of things around here with kitten season, and so while we have plenty of kittens on the adoption floor, I chose to showcase for you today one of our older kittens. People want the teeny tiny ones, the ones that are right at that 10 to 12 week old mark, and Nebula here is about 4 months old. She's not the only kind of older kitten that we have. We have a couple of kittens that are 6 months old. We have a couple that are 10 months old. We have our blind cat Palico, who is about 8 to 9 months old as well. So if you're looking for a young cat, but you still want to have a little bit more of an indicator of what their personality is going to be like, an older kitten is a good choice because they still have that same kitten energy, but you definitely have more of an idea of who they're going to be. Nebula right now is very sweet. She's kind of more relaxed. She's calmer than most of the other kittens on the floor. She is a purring machine, and I took her to an event, and we were out in front of a Weiss, and she was just laying in her cage getting petted, not really trying to escape, just happy to be loved on. She is going to make someone a great family pet. She is an orange tabby with white, so she's got that beautiful coat, that cute little pink nose, and she has a very soft fur. She's just, again, I can't emphasize how sweet she is, but it's possible that because she's not as small as some of the other kittens, that she and the other kind of older ones are going to get a little bit overlooked. So make sure you're checking out all of the animals when you come in to adopt. The small kitten might not be the best fit for your family and your lifestyle, so just make an informed choice and check out everybody, because these guys have great personalities, and all kittens eventually grow up to be adult cats. If you're interested in Nebula, you can visit her here at the shelter. She is in the front row of cages there, and our hours of operation where the kennels are open are going to be Monday, Tuesday, and Friday from 10 to 5, Wednesday and Thursday from 12 to 8, and Saturdays from 10 to 4. All of our cats and kittens are adopted for an adoption fee of $97.50. Our next guest is one of our seniors. To balance out the kittens that everybody's wanting, there are also some people out there who prefer a much calmer cat, and that's what you're going to get with the seniors. And sometimes during kitten season, they get overlooked, and they tend to hang around here with us for a little bit longer than maybe they would during the winter months. This is Peanut, and she's about 10 years old. She was previously adopted from us as a kitten, and she lived with the same family for 10 years, but now that family has dogs, and Peanut is not happy living with the dogs, so they brought Peanut back to us so that we could find her another home. She is a very sweet cat. She didn't really enjoy the cat carrier. Most don't, but she seemed to protest a little bit more than others. But she is very easy to handle. She comes right up to the cage for attention. She's very soft. You can pick her up and she's perfectly happy. She's a little nervous in a new space, but she's trying to settle in over there with Tammy. They say that she's calm, she's friendly, she's energetic, and they say that she's just a very sweet and affectionate cat. And because she is 10, she will be adopted for a fee of $57.50 instead of the normal $97.50. That is $40 off. So there's a lot of pluses to adopting a senior cat. Number one, you get the discount in your adoption fee. Number two, they've already lived in homes for an extended period of time, so they know what they can and can't do in a home, things like jumping on counters and scratching furniture. Their personalities are set, so if they like to sit on laps here, then they're going to like to sit on laps in your house. If they're playful here, they're going to like to play at your house. And they're just generally typically calmer. They don't require as much of your time. They're not as needy, things like that. The flip side to that is that older cats can sometimes need a little bit more medical care. Right now, we don't have any thing listed for Miss Peanut here, but it's just something to consider with all senior cats. Things like arthritis kicking in, needing things like dentals and all that stuff. If you're interested in Peanut, you want to stop in and visit with her here at the shelter. She is just one of the many seniors that we have available, starting from about the age of 5 on up. We have several, the oldest of which being Lizzie, who was recently on the show. She is our oldest cat on the adoption floor. She is 14. If you want to hang out with this mustached little girl, obviously you want to stop in. We are located at 1832 Rosemont Avenue for all that want to visit with Peanut. Thanos is our next guest, and he is one of our big, lovable mushes. Everybody's a fan of Thanos, and everybody wants to make sure that they visit with him, all of our volunteers, that is, before they head home for the day. Thanos is color-coded as orange, which means he's one of our average cats. But the remarkable thing is that when Thanos first came in, he was one of our wild box cats. So we have these boxes that we put in the animals' cages for them so that if they're scared, they can hide in them. Sometimes if they're a little aggressive, we can close that off. There's holes in them so that they can breathe, so that our staff can clean without worrying about scaring the animal or getting hurt themselves. So Thanos, it's hard to imagine that he started off in one of those, but we were able to, with time and our staff working with him a little bit, able to make him feel secure enough that they took the wild box away, and immediately he started, kneading or making biscuits. He started rubbing up against the front of his cage. So he had a very quick kind of turnaround a little bit. Sometimes noises can startle him and he can kind of recoil a little bit, but he recovers pretty quickly, and this is what he loves. He loves attention, he loves cuddles, he's perfectly okay being held, but also he loves sitting on a lap. He's very relaxed. I see volunteers daily sitting on chairs next to his cage, and he's just cuddled up on them, taking it all in and just lapping it up. He loves to be cuddled. So if this is what you're looking for, a lot of people come in and say, I want a lap cat. This is the guy for you. He's just big, sweet, handsome, lovable, and he's going to make a great pet. But again, because there are so many kittens, guys like Thanos are getting a little bit overlooked. So if you have in mind what you're looking for, feel free to ask the volunteers and the staff. We can point you in the right direction. You're getting a cat that's going to fit what you're looking for, and you're not going to be maybe distracted by all of just the kittens and all of their cuteness. Thanos is 2 to 3 years old. He did come to us as a stray, so all we know is what we found out about him here. He did have a cold when he first came in, but other than that, no medical issues of note. So he's just ready to move on from here and start the next chapter of his life with a new family. His adoption fee would be $97.50. He's already been neutered, so he's going to have a relatively quick turnaround for his adoption. Generally, our adoption process takes about 2 to 5 days, and it starts with an application that you can do and turn in here at Frederick County Animal Control. Our location is 1832 Rosemont Avenue. Not to be confused with country music superstar Conway Twitty, this is Conway Kitty. And I love Conway Kitty because he has the cutest little snaggletooth, and it just makes me laugh every time I see it. It's adorable. Other things about him, he is just the handsomest. He's got that beautiful red tabby coat, and he's got that beautiful long-haired fur. He's feeling a little nervous right now that we've taken him out of his safe zone. He tends to hide kind of behind his bed a lot as he's adjusting to life here in the shelter. He's about 1.5 years old, and he is also front declawed. A lot of people, they have an interest in getting their animals declawed. We don't advocate that here because it's not a great thing to do for your animals. It can have a lot of negative effects on your cats. So if you're interested in doing that, we just encourage people to adopt cats that are already declawed, like Conway Kitty here. He is front declawed. He was brought to the shelter because they say he was not using his litter box. They found him as a stray. They've had him 1.5 years, and he's about 1.5 years old. So I'm assuming that they went ahead and declawed him themselves. When you declaw a cat, it can sometimes lead to not using the litter box because They have a lot of pain when that first happens, and when they get into the litter box, it hurts, so they associate the litter box with the pain and they want to avoid that. That being said, we have charted Conway's litter box usage here in the shelter, and he uses his litter box with us. We didn't really have any issues from the beginning, so we stopped charting that. He came in on the 23rd of May, and we charted him to the 31st, and he's using his litter box with no issues, so we feel confident that he can go into a nice, loving home. Otherwise, they did say he was a little shy. And as you can see, he's trying to hide and feel insecure. So it might take him a couple of days to warm up to your family, but he's a handsome guy who deserves a loving home where he's going to be properly cared for. Because he does have that long-haired coat, grooming is going to be really important so he doesn't get mats, because that can be uncomfortable for him. He may even need an occasional trip to the groomer if he does get matted. Sometimes lion cuts are going to be a good thing for cats with fur as long as this guy, in case he gets a little too hot in the summer months. The adoption fee for a Conway kitty is going to be $97.50. Our last guest for you today is quickly becoming one of my favorites. This is Bella 2, because we have two Bellas on the floor, like we have two biscuits and we have two pumpkins. She is, despite the fact that she looks like a very young kitten, she is actually 6 years old. She weighs in at just under 6 pounds, so she's a petite little girl. And what I love about her is that she's just so sweet to me. She can be a little sassy sometimes, which is why we have her down as a purple card, which sometimes scares people away, because you know, she doesn't always want people to be messing with her, and she lets you know that. So she just needs someone who understands kind of cat body language, cat behavior. Someone who has older kids is going to be better for her, just because she doesn't necessarily want to play and roughhouse. She just wants to hang out and be your constant companion. She is so cute. She has those big eyes and that sweet little face. She is just a love. She asks for attention a lot. She comes to the front of her cage. She rubs against it. She wants someone to love her. She was brought to us because her owners were moving, and they said they were just unable to keep her. And they've had her for her entire 6 years of life. They say that she's used to kind of older kids, that she can be a lap cat. She can be a little shy. It does take her time to get used to living with other cats. So, you're not going to just toss her in with another cat and expect them to be friends. You want to take time to slowly introduce them. They say that she can be independent. They say that she does well with baths, so that says a lot about her if she's willing to tolerate a bath. They say that she's a lap cat, that she's very caring, and that when you whistle and say her name, at least to the woman's son, the owner's son, she would come and respond to whistles in her name. So that's kind of a cute thing that she does. It does say that she does claw a little bit on furniture, but she does use her cardboard scratcher. So, all cats are going to scratch. It's just up to us as their owners to train them and encourage them to do their scratching on the correct items. So that's just something that you're going to have to deal with every now and again, just as a cat owner. Thanks for watching this week's show. We hope that you've enjoyed meeting 10 of our adoptable animals here at Animal Control. Tune in next week where we'll introduce you to several more of those animals, and you can always stop by and visit. Our hours of operation are going to be Monday, Tuesday, and Friday from 10 to 5, Wednesday and Thursday from 12 to 8, and Saturdays from 10 to 4. We hope to see you soon.